I've talked a lot through months, and actually a lot of it came from conversations with my son over perception. A lot of times our perception plays a bigger role in our reaction than what we're actually hearing, because we hear statements but we don't really perceive what those statements are. And we see that. I used to do that in marriage counseling with people. They would get into these arguments with each other, just going back and forth with each other, and one of them would say something and I would stop and say, "Did you hear what the other one said?" "Yes, I did." "What did they say?" They had no idea what they said. They had listened per se, but they weren't really listening to what was being said. Because so often our perception determines how we bring into what is actually being said. The Lord says things to us, and we hear what we want to hear. I've been in trouble much of my ministry career because of posts on Facebook, and the people that were angry at me, they were yelling at what I said, and I would be like, "What are you talking about? I never said that." But see, their perception was that I had said it, so it didn't really matter what I had said. It just mattered what they had perceived me to say. I think sometimes we do that in the spiritual realm. And it does. It leaves me scratching my head. I'm not being facetious in saying that. I'm like, did you actually hear? But the problem is that the Lord can say one thing to me, one thing to you. It can actually be the same words, but we hear it completely differently. And I think, the Lord shared with these disciples this great story. We're going to Jerusalem. It's going to be bad, boys. And I've talked about bad in things, and boy, that just doesn't go over well. Sometimes people just want to ignore what you're saying because it's like, no, we don't want to hear that. It's going to be bad. I'm going to be beaten. I'm going to be abused. I'm going to be mocked. I'm going to be crucified. Then he gives them the great promise. And the third day, I will rise again. The third day, I'm going to get back up, boys. Totally oblivious to what Jesus is saying. Totally oblivious to what Jesus is saying. Hey, Lord, all of what you said, yeah. We've heard you talk about this crucifixion before, whatever, yeah. We just want you to give us what we want, okay? Let's get over all of this crucifixion stuff, and let's get down to what's really important. We want the right side and the left side of your throne. And they didn't even understand the throne they was even talking about. Wow. Is that why we get into these things of wrong attitudes?